Good morning, One Life America. Today is Monday, June the 15th, and we have entered the second week of the Summertime Sprint Contest. Make sure you sprint to the finish line to cash in on that prize money. Everyone's lines are muted and will remain muted until the question and answer portion of our call at the end of our this morning's call. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy Monday to join us and kick your week off in the right direction. We're very excited to have our devotional speaker this morning, Benji Crooms, join us. Benji serves as an agency manager for One Life America and has been with us for 15 years. We're always excited to have Benji share with us at our academies and our leadership summits. As a matter of fact, this last academy just a few weeks ago, Benji participated in the training of new agents and played an instrumental role in the entire academy. Benji is that guy. He's just super infectious in a good kind of way. When you're around him, he has a smile on his face, and he takes on each day with a positive outlook. So we're excited to have Benji share with us for our devotion this morning. Mr. Crooms, are you with us?
Yes, I am, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Thank you for joining us this morning, Benji.
Fantastic, man. I'm excited to do so, and I'm humbled that you would ask me to be a part of this, and hopefully that in the short time that I'm on, you'll get something out of it. So anyway, good morning, everybody, and hope everyone's doing well and ready to go for this week. Make some extra money, since One Life is being generous and giving us a little extra money, or a chance to make some extra money this week. So anyway, I'm gonna talk this morning just a little bit about planning in my devotion in just a short couple minutes or so. But planning is key. Many years ago, when my wife and I began our journey together, we would always find ourselves praying, asking God to lead us and guide us and show us what He wanted for our lives and the direction that we should go. And we would pray, and the Lord would lead us in His own little way. But most of the time, we thought that it was going to be in something, maybe Him coming down. I mean, just crazy stuff that, okay, we're just going to sit here and we're going to wait until He shows us where to go and what to do, And all of that's fine, but in Proverbs 16:1, it says, "To man belong the plans of the heart, but from the Lord comes the reply of the tongue." So when I think about our day-to-day job, I think we feel kind of the same way, that, man, what I need to do this week, Lord? Where do you want me to go, Lord? What do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? We sit around, we wait for God to give us the right move or the right plan of action. And I know some are sitting here this morning saying, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Well, I think, as I wrote here, I think God gives us the vision, and we got to put the plan on paper and work out the details. I think He gives us the vision, and He gives us the ability to be able to work the vision, but we got to put the plan on paper, and we got to work out the details. How many of you know that God can't change a plan that you don't have? So each week, I would challenge you to plan out your week, to plan out your month, to plan out your year, to have those goals. You often hear us talk about goals. In Proverbs 16:9, it says, "In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his step." So, you can have the plan, and it's great to have that plan and then allow God to lead you and direct you. But you got to get out there and, as the old saying goes, put legs to your prayers and be active and get out and hustle and get with it each week. But not only that, it's to have a plan. One of the things that I do with our agents most weeks is send a text that says, make sure to have a plan this week and to work that plan. And then if God wants to change it, He'll change it. But you've got to have a plan. In life, I think it's the same way. You've got to have a plan, and because if there are any managers on this call, what you often see is a guy that takes off wide open with us and then falls by the wayside a lot of times because he doesn't have a plan put together. So when it comes to our life today, we need to allow God to work together with us in our plan. So the question that I'll leave you very shortly says, if you don't have a plan, how can God direct you? Let's pray. Father, we love you. We thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to be here today. We thank you for One Life and all the many agents and managers and staff that we have, and I pray your blessings upon them today. God, you're so good to us in all that you do. And, Lord, you give your Son to die for our sins, and I pray, God, that we could be examples for you today, that we could live our lives and make choices that would please you today. God, help us to put a plan on paper so that we can see it, that we can take hold of it each day, Lord, and we can know, Lord, that you're walking with us and leading us through that plan, God. Again, we thank you for all your many blessings in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, Benji. What a powerful statement. God cannot change a plan that you don't have. Thank you for spending time with us on our devotion this morning, Benji. As always, we thoroughly enjoy it. Going to roll right into our marketing update, and serving first is going to be our production update. This is for weeks June 1st through June the 5th. Production for One Life was $569,253.36 of submitted annual premium. The number one agent for the week was with Patricia Rucker with $12,240 of submitted AP. Number two, Miss Susanna Gonzalez with $11,397. Scott Smith with $7,716. Mr. Javier Rodriguez with $7,311. Andrew Robertson with $7,103. William Russell with $6,981. Kirsten Goodman at the number 7 spot with $6,870. Joseph Burt, $6,699 of submitted AP. Mr. Scott Shaddy at $6,475. And rounding out the top 10, Mr. Ron Reed, who's sitting right here beside me, and we're going to be on our call here shortly. He rolled in there with $6,311 of submitted annualized premium. Make sure to jump into the and run fast on this second week of the Summertime Sprint Contest. If you write 10,000 plus and submitted AP in last week or this week, you get a $500 bonus. That scale goes 8,000 to 9,999. For $400, 6,500 to 7,999 was 300. 5,000 to 6,499, $200 additional bonus, and 3,500 to 4,999 is $100 extra dollars of bonus money, and that's each week of the contest. And the top three finish out. Number one place will pick up an additional grand, second place $500, and third place $200, and that's your overall winners for the entire contest. Make sure to get plugged in to our social media outlets by texting to the number 51660. You can text OLA in your message, and it can be uppercase or lowercase. You'll join our text message communication group. Get a reminder of this conference call, which we hold every Monday morning at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Do make sure you go to our Facebook page if you have a Facebook account and like One Life. You need to make sure you check out the biggest social media event to date, which is the posting of all of our Lake Tahoe pictures, and what a gorgeous place it was, and a lot of fun faces. You can tell everybody had a blast. Derek Derek's Motivational Monday building block sessions continuing. That video is available. I'll be sending out an email here shortly, so make sure you get plugged in to that as well. Like I said, glad to have Mr. Ron Reed sitting here with us. Ron Reed has been with One Life for 9 years, and he serves as a division manager for our company. Ron consistently ranks in the top 10 agents for One Life each year in and year out. And what's amazing about Ron is that he holds one of the highest placement and persistency percentages with our carriers. Matter of fact, he received an award from Forrester's while we were in Lake Tahoe a few weeks ago at the National Sales Convention for top business quality of all One Life agents during the entire year of 2014. We've had a request to have more training sessions on these conference calls, so we listened. And we know that Ron is as qualified as anyone to share his knowledge. So, Ron, thank you for taking time out of your money to join us for our call.
Thank you, David, for all the kind words. To start off with, of course, in this business, everybody knows we have to be self-motivated. As Benji said, we have to set goals. You have to have a plan of action. And you have to be able to set your own plan of action. You can't rely on someone else to direct your path because we don't have someone out there holding our hand in what we do. Today I'd like to talk about my daily and weekly routine and take you through my process, my steps to a sale, and share that with you. And, towards the end, maybe, share some tips with you on how I try to, maintain that level of persistency. But to start off with, I'd like to talk about the weekly routine, daily routine. Normally on Fridays or Mondays, I'm looking at the agent portal, looking for leads, trying to, again, come up with a plan of action for the following week. That begins on Friday. Throughout the week, you submit your business so that your PPL stays high enough to where you can go in on Friday and order leads and have a plan of action for the following week. So based upon lead availability, I'm ordering leads on Friday. At the latest, Monday morning, I'm in front of a computer ordering leads as quickly as possible, choosing the area to go out and work. My plan for the week, on Monday mornings, beginning around 9, I begin to call through my leads, and setting appointments for Tuesday. And I set normally 7 to 8 appointments on Tuesday. And then Tuesday, I travel to the area that I'm working, depending on the distance. Sometimes, if the distance is far enough, we'll travel on Monday night. But we'll get up and run appointments, travel Tuesday, run appointments, and throughout the day, I'm calling in between appointments to schedule appointments for Wednesday. Work a full set of appointments for Wednesday. That should consist of anywhere between 8 and 10 appointments for the day on Wednesday. And then Wednesday, it's the same routine as Tuesday. You're calling through your leads throughout the day, in breaks, at night, call up until 9:30 at night, and until you have a full day of appointments for Thursday as well. On Thursday, I run those appointments, and Thursday is my cleanup day to where I've, tried to get in touch with everybody throughout the week. The people I couldn't get in touch with, on Thursday, we're running the appointments that are set, and in between those appointments, instead of calling, we're doing drive-bys on the people that we have not been able to contact. This has been my recipe for success in my daily and weekly schedule and routine. Throughout the week, emailing in business, keeps your PPL up as you write it, submit it, or submit it on a daily basis. So in the evenings, after I've made my calls, 9:30 at night, get back to the hotel, email in the production throughout the day. On Fridays, my routine is to come into the office, the business that I've not already submitted, turn it in, and try and attempt to order leads for the next week and begin my routine again. And it is a routine. You've got to find what works great for you and get in a routine of a way of a week-to-week routine that you follow. And to start out, setting appointments. That's one of the first things, other than ordering leads, the first things I set out to do each week. I kind of have a unique way of setting appointments. And if David will be Mrs. Hosh for a few minutes, we'll have a little role play session on setting an appointment. To start off with, I take a lead, I call the lead, and whenever someone answers the phone, we'll just say ring, ring, and then we'll take it from there. Is that okay with you, David?
Sounds good.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, is this David?
This is he.
David, this is Ron Reed. I was calling you about the card we sent you in the mail, the one that was talking about final expense plans. You filled it out and sent it back to us. I assume you were looking for that coverage just for yourself. Is that right?
Yes, probably. Yes, sir.
Okay. In the last 5 years, have you had any major health problems?
No, sir.
Great. It only takes about 20 minutes to see what you qualify for. Tomorrow morning, afternoon, what's best for you?
I'm good tomorrow morning.
Okay. There's a couple of discounts as well. How about around 10 or 11? Would that be good?
That sounds good.
There's a couple of discounts. You don't smoke or use tobacco, I'm sure, right?
No, I do use tobacco. Yes.
That's okay. Not a problem. There's another discount that can offset that, and that's if you do business with a bank or credit union, which I'm sure you have an account, right?
I do.
Okay, great. All right, I've got you down for around 10 or 11 tomorrow, and I've got your address as 1234 Smith Drive in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Is that still correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So that's that's the phone. That's what I say every time on the phone to schedule an appointment. Very few objections, and most of the time, more times than not, you're going to have a time to where the person's at home and you have a qualified prospect. Me personally, I disagree with just knocking doors, but to each his own. Whatever works best for you. My approach at the door, do my best to be on time, but if we're running behind, sometimes the worst thing you can do is call and say, hey, I'm running about 15 minutes late. A lot of times on that call you're going to get, well, never mind, I had something come up. I'm not going to be home anyway. So try to be as punctual as possible, but when you get to running behind, it's not always best to call. That's what I found. But the door approach, knock on the door, someone comes. The first thing I do is show them the card that they filled out and sent back in. That way they know that I am the agent that they have requested information from. So I show them the card. I say, Miss Jones, this is the card that you filled out and sent back in. See right here where you wrote your date of birth? My next thing is, do you have a table, or where can we sit down and go over this information? Like I told you, it only takes about 20 minutes. So where can we sit down? And 9 out of 10 times, they open the door and say, come on in, we've got a kitchen table right over here. At this point, once I'm in the house, once we've sat down, I'm getting ready to begin the presentation. But before actually breaking into the visual, there's a couple things that take place in the house. First, kind of open with casual conversation. Try to relate to the individual that you're meeting with. Try to understand where they come from and the things that they are experiencing in life. Through this casual conversation, try to do a little fact finding. You don't have to play 20 questions in order to find out what people have, what's going on in their life, and what they may need. Again, through casual conversation, find out how much coverage they have, what type of policies they have. Find out what kind of debt they've got. Find out, the questions you're going to need answered to create a need later on in the sales process. So we're going to open up with casual conversation. We're going to do a little fact finding. We're going to find out what these people have so that we can know what they're going to need. After doing so, every individual I sat down with, ask help questions. Read the questions, let them answer. You don't have to do a lot of interpretation. We have phone interviews that do that for us. But ask the help questions and explain to the clients. The way I explain it, I say, we're a broker. We have multiple companies. We're going to do the shopping for you. We're going to find which product is cheapest. And that's why I need to ask you these help questions so I'll know which company to talk to you more about. So ask the help questions. Once I finish, if they answer no, I say, congratulations, you're going to qualify for our premium programs. And just a few minutes later, I'm going to tell you more about that. If they answer yes to a question, congratulations, you still qualify for our premium programs. Then I go into begin the visual presentation. Hopefully everyone out there has a pitch book and you're using your visual. If you're not, I recommend that you go on to onelife.com and onelifeamerica.com and order one. It's a roadmap to a sale. So you begin the visual after asking the help questions. The visual starts with a One Life page, and I say, at One Life, we're a broker. Like I told you, we shop around to try and get so that we can get you the cheapest whole life coverage available. It saves you from having to do the shopping, minimizes the headache on you. And then throughout the pitch, the visual, you say, at One Life, and hit every point. At One Life, we're a family-oriented company. We believe in treating our clients like family. Go over the government death benefit. It's only $255, and only if you qualify. Go over the funeral cost, $8,000 to $12,000. And then go over the next page to where these are all the things that that adds up to that $8,000 to $12,000. And move on. Let your final page be the one about the check with the pen, saying that it's so much easier to imagine an insurance company writing that final check rather than you or your family trying to write it. Then finally, you want to go over what I call the money page, and some people disagree with me on that, but you go over the fact that, and you point it out. People can see it so they can relate to it. Your premiums never go up. Your coverage never goes down. This policy can't be canceled. You own it. It's not up to the insurance company to decide what to do with this policy. You own the coverage. This is your policy. It can't be canceled, can't be changed, all those things that are important to these people. It builds cash value that you can borrow from if needed. And one of the last things I say after I've kind of drove those points home is this. You notice right here you can pick any day of the month that you want for this to be due. Now, what day works best for you? You're beginning to set up yourself for trial close and get yourself ready and get these people's, in the mindset of, okay, I'm taking out a policy with this guy today. So which day works best for you? Next, I briefly go over the carrier information, whatever carrier you've selected, and, American Amicable Foresters, out of our list of carriers, whatever has, works best for that client, whatever you've selected, and give them a little history about the carrier, been in business for 100 years, 50 years, A-rated, B-rated, whatever the case may be. Give them a brief information about the carrier. And then I always do a recap. Said, okay, this is final expense policy, which means there's no tax, therefore it's paid out quickly. Therefore, the family can use it very easily. It never changes. It never cancels. At One Life, like I said, we treat you like family. Just give them a quick recap of everything you've said. Once you've done that, I do what I call as a trial close. After the recap, I look at whatever client, husband, wife, that I'm sitting with, and I look at them and ask them, now I know I've covered a lot of information, but do you have any questions other than the price? Do you have any questions that I have not answered? You want to go over, and if there are any objections, you want to find them out now before you start going over coverage amounts and premiums. But usually the answer is no. They have no other questions, and it's time to start talking about coverage amounts. Now's when we use that fact finding and the casual conversation that we opened up with. Now we kind of we already have an idea about what they need, and we're ready to build that need now and talk more about it. I begin by writing down coverage amounts. Once they've said no, they have no other questions. Write down the coverage amounts, 10, 15, 20, 20, 25, 30, whatever amount you deem is necessary. I always recommend that when you're writing down coverage amounts, don't go less. The first pencil you show them, do not show less than $40 a monthly premium. $40 is the base. You don't want to go any lower than that, regardless of who you're talking to. So that's how I determine what I'm going to show them off, based off their need and based off not showing them less than $40 a month. If they can't afford it, of course, go lower. You can always go down, but it's hard to go up. So once I've shown them, I say, Ms. Jones, I've shown you $10,000, $15,000, and $20,000. There's your monthly premiums. Again, they never change, they never cancel. We can figure up any amount of coverage you like, whatever works best for you. Again, this is what I recommend. Now, which one of these amounts, let me back up. These are the amounts of coverage, 10, 15, and 20,000. Who's going to be the beneficiary? In other words, who's going to be responsible for planning everything when that time comes? So you find out the beneficiary. Once they give you an answer as to who the beneficiary is going to be, go over it one more time. So now I've shown you $10, $15, and $20,000. I can figure up any amount you like, or you can go with one of these here. You tell me, which one of these works best for you? Which amount do you want me to have sent out to your son? And then you are quiet. Long silence. The next person to talk loses. So until your prospective client, the applicant, says something or gives you an answer, hopefully they're going to say, I'll take that $20,000. I just don't think that's going to be enough. I need $35,000. Okay? But until they give you an answer, you sit and just wait. At this point in time, that's when your objections are going to come about, and I'm going to cover a few. One thing they may say is, let me think about it. Okay? One of my common rebuttals to that objection is, like I told you in the beginning, at One Life, we're broker. We did the shopping for you. There's nothing to think about. I mean, we've already compared quotes with all the top carriers available here in the state of Tennessee. And then once you've rebutted that objection, you don't ask them again. You've got the application out in front of you. Now, how do you spell your first name? And you begin to start writing. Always assume the sale. They can say, well, we don't have any money. Say, well, what's that we're watching on TV over there? You have cable, right? What's more important, your cable television or leaving a burden on your family? Heaven forbid they smoke. You tell me what's more important, cigarettes or your family. Some people say cigarettes. And then after you go over that objection, you go right back. And what's your middle initial? Someone will say next week. Well, we're regulated by the state. We have enrollment periods. This week is our enrollment period. I'm only here for a couple of days, and tomorrow I've got other people that are interested in this that I have to sit down with. So you really, while I'm here, you have to decide which amount of coverage works best for you. And ask them, which amount did you want me to send out? Okay. Now, how do you spell your last name? And begin go back to filling out the application. Always assume the sale. I already have insurance. I understand. You told me that when we started. Again, that's why I'm recommending this. You already have life insurance. This is going to help out with any other final expenses that you may have, funeral and burial related. I already have burial insurance. I understand. This policy is a final expense policy. It's designed to help with any medical bills, any other debts that you may have, anything that you leave behind, other final expenses. That's why this is called a final expense policy. I know you've got your burial taken care of. This is for your final expenses. Now, what's your address again? Or let me talk with my children. One of the most common objections. Normally, there's different ways to handle it, but one of the main ways I, handle that objection is by saying, do you think you're wanting to ask permission of your children for you to leave them $10,000? Do you think your child's going to call me and ask me if it's okay for her to receive this $10,000 check? Of course not. She's not going to need permission to receive $10,000, and you don't need permission to give her $10,000 either, do you? After this, hopefully we close the sale, and, we complete the paperwork, do the interview, have them sign the application. You can complete the application while they're doing the interview. Follow up, the main thing I do as far as follow-up goes, before I leave the house, whatever it is that I think is most important to these people to make them keep the coverage, be it not leaving a burden on their family, be it they are barely going to be able to afford it, whether you need to remind them to make sure they leave the money in the account, whether you need to remind them that this is about, taking care of their family, or whatever do you think is their hot button, whatever is most important to that individual, you drive that point home right before you walk out the door. That's the last thing you do. And you share with them time and time again. Make sure that they have that they know they have an open line of communication with you. If they need anything or have any questions, that they have your cell phone number to contact you anytime. That is my most important follow-up, is making sure that I'm readily available to them and make sure they understand that, and to call me with any issues they have. Other follow-up, if you receive an email, it is your responsibility. These clients are not going to do it. They're not. You know, they'll lose their coverage and then they'll call somebody else and get another policy. You've got to follow up on any type of emails you receive, be it from Foresters, American Amicable. You've got to be on the websites of these carriers looking for pending requirements. You can't rely on agent services or, you know, agent onboarding and retention. You can't just rely on them to do this for you. It's our job as agents to make sure that this business stays on the books, and the only way that it's going to stay on is if you follow up with the carriers, see it through until it's issued, and once it's issued, if it's an overdrafted premium, you need to be contacting every client. It takes 5 minutes to get them on the phone and ask them if there was a mistake, if they have the money. Granted, most are going to say, hey, I just can't keep it right now. I'm in a bind. But you're going to get once in a while, you're going to get that one that said, yeah, I just misspent my money this month. Can you double up on me next month? Or there's money in there now. Go ahead and take it. Following up with the carriers, looking for pending requirements and other issues with your business, and being a mediator between your client and the carrier is how you maintain a high level of persistency and keep the business on the books. With that said, I'm going to turn it back over to David. Sorry I was a little long-winded.
No, that's good stuff, Ron. Thank you so much again for taking time out of your day. We're going to go ahead and make everybody's line where you can hit *6 to unmute. So by hitting *6, if you have a question for Ron Reed while we have him here, feel free to fire away. We'll give 10 or 15 seconds to see if there's any questions.
That's right.
One thing that I picked up on, Ron, is things that I remember doing and making a very integral part of my presentation. One, you make a sale not just emotional or not just factual, but you combine the two, because that's what really solidifies a sale, an emotional and a factual sale. When they understand what happens if they don't, what happens to their family if they don't, but they understand the need for doing it as well.
Absolutely.
And you made mention of the money page, the page where it bullet points out the things like whole life permanent protection, your rates never go up, your benefits never go down, you can't be canceled because of age or health changes. There's this permanent whole life protection, and I think that page is extremely important to cover. That's the reason it's on the back of our tri-level close pads, because you don't want 3 days after you leave for them to wonder what they purchased.
That's correct, and through the visual presentation, you've already brought in the emotional aspect and talking about the fact of it being easier for the insurance company to write the check rather than a family. So you've tied in the emotional. Now you're going over the factual to get yourself ready for to go over close.
And understand, folks, that this the presentation that's offered, the sales presentation that's offered in the One Life presentation manual, is not something that was created yesterday. This thing's been around for 15 or 20 years. This is a tried and true presentation for completing a sale. And another key point, and I'll end with this, and we'll see if there's any questions. Business conservation, you talked about receiving an email and follow-up, and that is so important, not just for immediate income, but for your long-term residual income. You've got to follow up with those emails. And, yes, we have people in place to help watch and help out with that, but you need to. This is your business. Manage your business. Do we have any questions for Ron Reed while he's on the phone? All right, so I'm going to end with a quote.
Hi, Ron.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, this is Donald. Quick question. If you happen to not able to get that client back on the book, how long after will you follow up and maybe have to rewrite them, if that's the worst-case scenario?
Well, Donald, that's one thing that I don't do. If other people in, upper management, One Life's listening, they might not want to hear me say this. But I treat every client and every lead, when I tell them it's a state-regulated plan that we have an enrollment period, this week is it, I mean that. And maybe I travel further than you guys do. I don't know where you guys are at and what you guys are doing, but, I'm traveling 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours away from home each week. And, I'm not going back over there next week. I'm not going to drive 2.5, 3 hours for one application. The next week, I'm going to have a fresh set of leads, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to start fresh each week. And I think that's important, is to work each week like it's the last time you're ever going to touch these leads.
No, like if you have a client that the premium return or something came up where they couldn't. Yeah, that's what I referred to. I apologize.
No, my apologies. Misunderstood. I'm going to call them if that client says, hey, and normally the carriers, let's say that this month they overdrafted and they're 1 month in behind. Most carriers can double draft the following month without you having to go back out. Okay. And that's normally what I ask for. If they're not going, if it's going to be 6 or 7 months, I just keep their information and follow up with them 6 months from now, and just touch base with them and say, hey, where are you guys at now? Are you ready to get your coverage back?
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Thanks, Donald. We appreciate you asking a question there. Does anybody else have a question for Ron Reed while he's on the phone?
Man, one question. I must have been very thorough.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick? This is Danielle Byrne in Virginia Beach.
Please do.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I got a lot out of that. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty confident and bold in the home, but
Great.
One thing that I have heard other people doing that you mentioned was the taking inventory of what they have in their house if they rebuttal on not having the money, like
Sure.
The cable and the cigarettes. I don't know if it's just your southern twang that makes it not sound rude, but I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't really know how to do that. I mean, do you ever just push the button until you get kicked out, or
Sure.
What is your approach?
I push buttons all the time, and if I get kicked out of a house tomorrow, I promise you it won't be the first one I've been kicked out of. But I do it in a nice way. You're right. That southern hospitality, southern charm, whatever you want to call it, maybe it's kept me from getting shot. I don't know. But yes, I do push buttons, and there are times that I make people angry, and I don't always make the sale when I do that. Sometimes I do. But if not, hopefully I've planted a seed that the next agent will come in there behind me, and these people will realize the importance of getting some coverage. So to answer your question, it's okay to confront these people. And, at first you want to try a soft approach. But if the soft approach isn't working, you may have to change your technique.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Don't be scared to confront these people.
I can confront. That one's a little tough for me, but I'm good at the whole, I'm good. Yeah, that one's tough, so I appreciate the encouragement. I'm going to try it this week.
There you go. Let me rephrase it. Don't be timid. Don't be scared to be tough on these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Danielle. And I think it goes without saying, Ron saying be tough and confront the folks and pushing buttons. It all boils down to we know what happens if we leave that house. They tell us no. We walk away. They still have $0 worth of life insurance. Somebody's paying for that funeral. And we've done a disservice to the family if we haven't at least tried to get coverage in place in that household. Are there any other questions for Ron while he's on the phone? All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're 10 past the hour with a quote and then followed by 3 questions. The quote has several variations attributed to some of the greats of this country: Ben Franklin, Carl Buckner, Harvey Mackay. And my favorite rendition is Winston Churchill during World War II, where he said, he who fails to plan plans to fail. He who fails to plan plans to fail. We've all heard it. The 3 questions I have for you are, do you have a plan? Second question, where are you in that plan? And number 3, what is your plan for collecting some prize money during the Summertime Sprint Contest? Thank you for joining us, One Life. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you on this call next Monday. Bye-bye.